Okay, I was going to do this more with the GoPro video, but it looks like I'm ending up using my smartphone. Reason being, ran into technical difficulties. Okay, so today's shooting session, unfortunately, it's kind of like the after effect. It's kind of like the post-shooting session. Today, I just wanted to cover different types of projectiles. Today, I shot the Smith & Wesson Victory Performance Center model. It's upgraded from the standard model. In fact, it's got a carbon fiber wrap barrel, detachable muzzle brake. I put a tandem cross plate, and it has a Burris Fastfire 3 microdot sight. That you can kind of see that red dot. All right, but it's really awesome. I wanted to show the effects of different types of projectiles. Now, the first projectile that I shot was just a standard flat point, but it was modified. Well, actually, it was a standard round nose, but I modified it to a flat point using a special tool made by a gunsmith called, his name is Gary Reeder, out in Arizona. And what it does is it has the effect of creating more of a, transmitting more shock to, well, for lack of a better term, flesh. Here's the entrance wound to the Zote, or the soap. And you can see the backside, it creates kind of a large cavern or cavity. All right, that's from standard 22 rimfire. The next round that I shot was, I shot some 36 grain hollow points, Winchesters, and they did not have the same effect. They had a little bit of a hollow, they did have a little bit of what is called cavitation. They created a little bit of a cavity, but not that much, not compared to, a modified. You can see the size difference. Okay. Now, the third round that I used, and these have been around for quite some time. CCI made them. They're called Stingers. They're still one of the fastest 22 rimfires made. It's 32 grain hollow point. Out of a rifle, it'll do 1,640 feet per second. Out of a pistol, I'll probably say they're doing about 1,300. But you can see, and I did pull the shots, they do cause quite a bit of damage. All right, I wish I would have had more of a centered shot on that. It would have been a different story. And then last but not least, I shot the Winchester Varmint HE round. Now, these rounds are pre-segmented. It's a hollow point, right? As you can see here, to an extent. But the bullet is actually pre-segmented into 3 equal segments, so that when it strikes flesh, it breaks off into 3 separate projectiles, and it causes, more of a wound, so to speak, more of a cavity. Now, here's an entrance hole, and then you can see on the back, there's quite an exit hole, all right? And this one here was pulled off, but you can see that it causes quite a bit of damage. Now, again, Zote is not really comparable to any kind of flesh, but it does show you the amount of damage that it could cause on something like flesh. And the reason I'm shooting 22s is because, well, it's relatively cheap, although at $16 for a box of 50, that's kind of ridiculous, but it's the day and age we live in now. I wanted to show that different projectiles have different effects. Generally speaking, a round nose bullet will tend to just punch holes through flesh. It's generally used more for target shooting, whereas a flat nose, it could be used for target shooting, but it'll impact more energy on a flesh target and create a bigger wound channel, all right? So it has more what is called hydrostatic shock, so it has a better chance of, dropping something. And then your hollow points, again, they tend to have more of an explosive effect. They create that hydrostatic shock, since bodies tend to be mostly fluid, and fluid, following Pascal's principle, does not compress. Fluids don't compress. That shock wave tends to create a damaging wound channel, all right? You have what is called, I believe it's called cavitation. You create a big cavity, and you can see in that Zote a big cavity with the 2 hollow points. So on that note, I'm sorry about, I didn't have actual shooting shots, but unfortunately, the GoPro was acting up, so we're going to use the smartphone for this one, okay? So anyways, I want everybody to take care, and I'll see you guys soon.